So good evening once again, everyone. My name is Kat McDonald, and I am the Executive Secretary for the Northeast Regional Honors Council. I've been working with NRHC on its board since I think 2017. So I've been doing this for a long time, and I'm the Honors Director at Monroe University, which is in New York. So tonight, our prep session is all about the Performing Arts and Film Showcase, which is something that we started up at our conference about 2 or 3 years ago. And every year, I think it's just so amazing to see all of the creativity and talent that comes to this showcase. So we've seen students perform music, we've seen students act, we've seen students dance, we've seen students read creative work, we've seen students show film. So there's all these things that we do. So what I want to do is I'm going to share my screen. And I'm just going to go over some of the conference logistics and things like that. And of course, as you guys have questions, feel free to chime in. So our website is nrhchonors.com. So for the most part, what I would say is, our conference kicks off on Thursday, March 26th, and it will go through Sunday, March 29th. The Performing Arts and Film Showcase will be on the Friday afternoon. So that's the 27th at, I believe it's 4 p.m. Okay. So on this page, you just get basic information about the conference. Your honors director should be registering you guys for your conference as well as booking your hotel room. So if you're not sure if your honors director has done that stuff yet, just make sure that you check in, because one of the things with conference registration is that students, the honors director should be asking you guys for your meal preferences, because we kind of give that information to the hotel ahead of time. So there's selections for our Friday night dinner and there's selections for our Saturday luncheon. So if your honors director hasn't asked, feel free to, contact him or her and just say, hey, I attended a prep session. Do you need my information for registration? In addition to that, at our conference, we have a really great, we have two great opportunities for students who want to do more leadership things at the conference. One of them is by volunteering to be a member of our Student Activities Committee. And if you're interested in being a member of the Student Activities Committee, we actually sent out an email earlier this week talking about it. Have you guys been getting the emails? Just for the folks who are here?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, awesome. So if you're interested, the student rep Gmail account was in there, so you could email our student reps directly. But what Student Activities Committee basically does is the students might ask you for input or maybe even social media content, like students preparing for the conference or getting to the conference, tagging us in any posts that you guys make. But more importantly, when we're on site and on the ground in New Haven, being able to maybe help with setups and execution and things like that, right? So it's a great leadership opportunity. We name all of the Student Activity Committee members at our awards ceremony on Sunday, and we give certificates to everybody. So it's just a nice leadership thing, and it's something that you could probably also add to your resume about your conference involvement, okay? The other leadership opportunity is maybe serving as a student moderator. So on Saturday, we have tons and tons of presentations and panels and things going on. And what moderators do is they help presenters stay on time and, keep the audience flowing during Q&A. It's not a scary sort of thing. We do a training for that as well. But again, when your director registers you, those are two questions that are in registration. Would the student like to be considered as a student moderator, or maybe get more information about joining the Student Activities Committee? So these things were all in an email that went to your directors, but just stuff for you guys to know. The other thing that I mentioned, as both of you guys are creative, is we do have, and again, this is on our conference, like the main conference page. So I just clicked 2026 conference. NRHC has an undergraduate journal called Illuminate, okay? The call for submissions is currently open. So if you have work that's already completed that that you'd like to submit, we accept both academic work and creative work. And I'll just go to the Illuminate website. I already have it open. But everything in the journal is digital, and you can see if you click on the 2025 edition, we're in our 7th year, so next year will be our 8th edition. And you'll note that there are academic work, and a lot of times students, submit papers that they presented at conference. It doesn't have to be something that you submit to conference or are presenting at conference, but you can see that students have done creative nonfiction. We get fine art and illustration. We get poetry. We've never had a film, so if somebody wanted to share a film, we'd be able to digitally, embed the clip into the post. So that would be really awesome to be able to include film maybe in the future, but short fiction as well. So all of the submission information is in the Submit Your Work tab, and submissions will stay open until close to the end of May. So we talk a lot about this at conference, because we want to get more students to consider submitting. And it's just a great way. Our motto at Illuminate is to let your work shine on, is our motto. And we'd love for you guys to consider that. So that's just another, NRHC opportunity. Coming back to here on our menu, there is another button here, the conference program draft. So I already have it open, and this will link you to what's currently a PDF. So this PDF will become a page on our website eventually. So one of the things that you guys should do if you haven't done so already is you can kind of get a sense for some of the different things that are happening throughout the conference in brief. Because again, this is just a draft, but you guys will notice that you guys are on Performing Arts and Film Showcase from 4 to 5 o'clock in the room called Temple. Our conference hotel is very manageable. It's not a huge space. So once you get to the conference presentation floor, all of the rooms are like on the same level. So you're not going to get lost. You're not going to feel like you don't know where you're going. There are 4 of you in the hour. So typically the way that we divide the time is basically in quarters, right? So each of you will have 15 minutes, and how you use your 15 minutes is up to you. Usually, like, even though it ends at 5 o'clock, the next thing that's in the program, which is called our Expo and Art Gallery, that's kind of an open, like, walking fair sort of thing. So even if people had questions at the very end, you can hang out, we can hang out, and you can answer people's questions if they have questions for you. But my plan is to give you like time signals. Like if you hit 10 minutes, like I'll give you a 5-minute time signal. And then, if you're still going, I'll give you a 2-minute signal and then a 1-minute signal. But if you finish before the 15 minutes, I'll help moderate questions or, anything that the audience might want to ask within that 15-minute time frame. So does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. This room will be equipped with audiovisual equipment. So there will be a screen and a projector, and we'll have a speaker. So if you're showing a film, we'll have a speaker so people can hear it. And if you're not showing a film, but you're doing something, with the spoken word, right? If you have images that you want to display, my advice is to, create like a slideshow of your images, whether that's in Canva or in Google Slides or in PowerPoint, and then to save it, to export it, especially if it doesn't have animation, export it as a PDF because we use Chromebooks. So we want to make sure, before the session starts. So I'll be in the room before the session starts to make sure that your presentations are uploaded and we're ready to go. So that way that doesn't kill time between our different presenters. So, with the audio visual, if you have questions or concerns, you can always just email us at the NRHC Gmail. We actually just opened up a brand new account for the NRHC Gmail, and that account is info@nrhchonors.com. We were finding that a lot of folks were getting the emails were getting stuck in people's like spam filters at different institutions. So we're hoping that by connecting it to our domain, that will solve some of the issue. But we're still taking emails at our other one, which is Northeast Regional Honors Council at gmail.com. So however you communicate, I'm the person who gets your email. So I will be the person who either answers it or, routes it to the person who can help. So with the showcase, aside from just making sure that we divide the time evenly, what I would say is really plan to not just showcase your artistry, but maybe give the audience a little bit of context before you get started, what inspired the project, and then dive on in. I definitely recommend practicing a few times. Uh, our rooms, like the rooms in the conference, are not gigantic, so you're not going to be facing like an audience of 100 people. And everybody at NRHC, if you've never been before, is really, really friendly. Okay. Everybody, excuse me, everybody is very supportive. They want to hear what you have to say. And I think you'll find it to be a very student-centered conference. So that is some of the big highlights. And I encourage you to look through the entire program. Um, if any of you are artists, we have kind of like a traditional art gallery that we do following the Performing Arts and Film Showcase. And that is really a space where people sometimes display, drawings or paintings or sculpture, digital art. We did have a student once present or showcase her chapbook of like poetry. So if you have something physical that you'd like to kind of continue to talk about with people, the art gallery is open to any student who's coming to NRHC. So I'll grab the form for that in a minute and I'll put it into the chat if you're interested in submitting to the art gallery. What else? There's student events every night at the conference. So on Thursday night, there is a trivia and game night. Student event on Friday is karaoke. And then our closeout event on Saturday, which is the really big presentation day. So there's tons and tons of presentations, pages and pages, right? But there is a gala on Saturday night called the Secret Society. Okay. So I think that'll be a lot of fun. The other thing that I'll just call to attention from our website is we do have some awards that we give out every year. So we do Student of the Year awards, we have Professional of the Year awards, publications contest if your honors program or college has a newsletter or a magazine or something. That's the competition for you. And then we also have Outstanding Poster and Paper awards. So all of these awards are still open. Some of them close at the end of February and then one or two close in mid-March. So if you haven't checked out the awards, check that out. But I will be sending out more reminders about those to everybody on our conference mailing list. So I'm going to pause here and open the floor to you guys. Do you guys have questions for me?
I don't think so.
And it could be about anything. It could be about anything conference related. It could be about how to, anything, dressing, what to expect, like what, it could be anything. It doesn't have to be just about your presentation.
To confirm for the AV stuff, I might have missed it, but was there anything we have to do ahead of time specifically, or?
We haven't as a board, the NRHC board has talked about maybe trying to collect people's stuff ahead of time to be super duper organized. We haven't necessarily made a decision. So for right now, the answer is no, but just keep an eye on the emails. And if I know that there's something that we're trying to collect because you guys are such a small group, the Performing Arts and Film Showcase folks, I'll reach out to you guys in, through the email, the way that I did about the session tonight, just because you guys are not like a huge subset. But not right now. There's nothing that you have to provide in advance.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Other questions or comments?
Yeah, you pretty much answered my question before you started this meeting about just being able to say like segments of my stories instead of like the whole thing. Like most of my short stories are about 4 to 7 pages long, so I have to figure out how to condense, those stories into 15 minutes, you know.
Right. Sure. So, I mean, I would consider maybe thinking about the themes that run through your stories, or I don't know if there's any common characters or things like that. But a lot of times, even at author talks and book readings, right, they kind of provide that little context, and then they share an excerpt that they feel really passionate about, right? And then they put their soul like into reading that, right? So, and as I said, if any of you have additional footage or content that you would like people to have access to, one of the things that I always think is really nice is if you wanted to do like a small handout, even if it's just like half a page or one page, and have a QR code that we could distribute, and then people could access. your content, if you're, because again, I know that it's a condensed amount of time, and you have so much talent and things to share. So that to me is a nice way of being able to, you know, um, enhance your what you're talking about, right? And reel people in to see more. But remember, there's also that illuminate. So do please consider proposing to illuminate as well.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
No, it's my pleasure. So I'm looking forward to meeting you guys in New Haven. If you have any questions at all, again, the email address to use is info@nrhchonors.com. And before you guys go, let me just grab that form for the art gallery. And again, if you have other folks from your institution that are coming to NRHC, feel free to share any of the things that I've talked about, just about the conference and about, things to know with your colleagues. I think for a lot of students, some students come back to NRHC, more than once. Is this your first year coming to our conference for both of you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I think it's going to be I think you'll have a very positive experience. And like I said, my name is Professor McDonald. And if you have any questions, just shoot me an email at the NRHC account. And I look forward to seeing you guys in New Haven and seeing your presentation. So thank you so much. I'm going to end the recording here, but I'm happy to stay on.